सत्य परेशान हो सकता है, पराजित नहीं. That is a conversation which is going to hold the Sabarmati Report. Hi, this is Samina Sheikh here, and with me today I have the star cast of Sabarmati Report. So join me as I welcome all of them only on Zoom channel.
Thank you.
First of all, lovely to have you. And as we talk about a topic which is very serious, it is not something which could be taken lightly. It is something which is revisited a lot of times. To all of them, how was it working for you all? Because it could be taxing. I would like to know from you all.
It is very taxing. I mean, but we knew what we were getting into when we signed the film. We knew this was something that was going to be talked about, and it should be talked about, is what we understood while we were doing the film. There were a lot of revelations, a lot of stuff that I saw, which I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know these things happened, and I'm sure my generation or the newer generation doesn't know anything about it. But it's an important part of history that everybody should be aware of, and that's why we're all a part of this film. And I think we were all aware that this is going to happen. It is going to be taxing, but we're ready for it. Yeah.
Ridhi, what do you have to say? Like being a part of this one, how was it for you?
It was fantastic. हर एक कहानी जब आप उस पे काम करना शुरू करते हैं, उसकी अपनी एक जर्नी होती है और उसका एक अपना ही मज़ा होता है और एक अपना ही तरीका होता है. यहाँ पे क्योंकि सच था, जो हम जिस चीज़ के बारे में बात कर रहे थे और जो कह रहे थे, उसमें वी हैड टू बी वेरी वेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबल. एंड वो पता है, जब आपको टीम से मिलता है ना, जब आपको पता है कि इतनी रिसर्च की है और इतना सेंसिटिविटी और सेंसिबिलिटी के साथ काम किया जा रहा है, तो तब मज़ा आता है कि हम लाइक माइंडेड लोगों के साथ काम कर रहे हैं जो सच को दिखाने में. और जब आप ऐसी कोई कहानी बताते भी हैं तो बीच बीच में भी मिलावट होती है, लेकिन मैं सच कहूँगी कि लास्ट तक जब तक हमने शूट किया है, हमारी कोशिश यही रही है कि हम सच का हर पहलू आपको दिखाएं, दर्शकों को दिखाएं, और फिर आप ही आप खुद डिसाइड करें आप किस डायरेक्शन में जाना चाहते हैं.
What do you have to say, Vikrant? Because especially you were the one on the field trying to kind of also battle between the English news channel versus the regional news channel.
काफी challenging था, like the both of them have said, when you have sort of taken it upon yourself to sort of tell a story which is so sensitive, it does have its repercussions. It has its own impact on you. When it comes to playing a character, when it comes to playing a journalist, who's sort of going through a lot, there is a definite disparity between Hindi journalism and English journalism. There is this preconceived notion about English being an elite language, or English being the language or a class of its own, and the Hindi-speaking journalists or regional journalists or publications or people belonging to that socio-economic background are looked down upon. तो वो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो हमने इस कहानी के ज़रिए कहने की कोशिश की. But when it comes to the core subject of the film, I believe that it is a story that had to be told. I am really appalled that I've been acting for more than 20 years now. I haven't come across anyone who's wanted to or even attempted to tell the story for whatever reasons they have. An incident that completely shapes or has shaped our current socio-political fabric, nobody wants to talk about it for whatever reasons. So when this opportunity came my way, got an opportunity to play a journalist, to be a part of a story which is so intrinsic in our country. As I said, it's completely changed the entire, socio-political milieu of the country. Yeah, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to play a part like this. So I took it upon myself, but really glad that Ekta ji has been really brave. The people involved with this film have been really brave to come forward, speak the facts, and present facts as facts and not merely sort of to entertain or to misinform. The idea is to sort of move the cloud of misinformation away and straight look into the reality, look into the eye of reality. So we've attempted that. I hope the audiences sort of resonate with it.
But also, as we focus on a subject like this, and we have seen in the past also when movies like a Black Friday was made, or even a movie like Kashmir, right, recently, which was made, it did get good response, but at the same time, it got divided between two different societies. It also led to a lot of triggering factors for the audience who have faced this in the past. For them it was like revisiting certain things which has happened. Were you also conscious about the environment, because the moment it comes into picture, a lot of people who have been through that and saved themselves will, or the families who went through that, the 59 families, or for that matter, they would really get back to the zone of it, which they have kind of tried to move on from.
इसीलिए आई थिंक मतलब मेरी पर्सनल कोशिश यही रही कि, और आई थिंक सबकी यही थी कि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के साथ और सेंसिटिविटी के साथ अगर स्टोरी कहानी बताई जाएगी तो आई वुड लाइक टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. और वो आप जब टीम से मिलते हैं आपको समझ में आ जाता है कि किस डायरेक्शन में ये काम करना चाहते हैं, कैसा काम करना चाहते हैं. तो एंड लाइक ही सेड, एकता ने बैक किया है और वो मतलब शी इज वेरी ब्रेव एंड उन्होंने अगर किया है, और जो टीम है जिन्होंने किया है वो कल तक रिसर्च कर रहे थे. कल भी हम स्टेज पे गए थे तो मैंने कुछ बात उनसे पूछी तो उन्होंने बोला हम रिसर्च टीम से चेक करके बताते हैं. सो दैट्स द अमाउंट ऑफ सीरियसनेस एंड इंटेग्रिटी दैट द टीम इज कीपिंग, क्योंकि ये इतना सेंसिटिव टॉपिक है, क्योंकि ये ट्रिगर कर सकता है, क्योंकि हर तरीके. एंड देखिए ओपिनियन का क्या है कि हम जिस समाज में अब जी रहे हैं, अब ओपिनियंस आर एवरीवेयर एट ऑल टाइम्स, तो उनसे तो डर नहीं सकते. हम कहानी कहने वाले लोग हैं, हम उनसे नहीं डर सकते, लेकिन डेफिनेटली हम रिस्पॉन्सिबल हो सकते हैं, जिसकी पूरी कोशिश की है.
You were talking about the people who lost their lives and their families and what impact they would have.
Yeah.
I think they'd be happy that we've chosen to speak about the lives lost, because Vikrant has also said this in many interviews that वो आंकड़े बन के रह गए. Nobody knows their names. Nobody probably cares about the lives that were lost. And we have this wonderful dialogue in the film which says, "In इस आग में बहुतों ने अपनी रोटियां सेकी." But nobody talks about those lives lost or their families. And this film is a tribute to those people who lost their lives. We specifically talk about their families, and we specifically talk about the lives lost and the impact it has, not just on obviously what happened later happened, but the immediate impact was the families that were affected, and there were a lot of kids and women also in those compartments. So I think they'll be glad that their story is finally being told in the right way. And we have made a conscious decision not to take any sides but the side of humanity. We showed from that angle, not from any other angle, but from the human level, what it feels to having lost a loved one in such a terrible, terrible happening that happened. And even while we were shooting, and Vikrant, there was this scene where we, the रोंगटे खड़े हो जाते हैं ना, वो वाला सीन जब रिक्रिएट कर रहे थे हम ये पूरा, तो रोंगटे खड़े हो गए. लाइक देयर वाज अ टाइम वी वर शूटिंग इनसाइड एंड बोथ ऑफ अस discussed so much about what they would have gone through when you're stuck in a compartment and you're put on fire. So on a human level it touched us, and that's what we are hoping the film does. And I hope that people can see it through the angle that we saw it, which is humanity.
What do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean they've covered most of the things. But I understand that it's a very sensitive thing, and the families involved or the people involved, not just in the Sabarmati Express incident or even the aftermath afterwards, they might get triggered. But we are hopeful that we look at the larger picture. We are hopeful that we look at what we want to say through the film in its entirety. We hope that they understand our sincere attempt in sort of through the medium of the story or through this art form. We want to honor them. It is a travesty of our times, Samina, that those 59 people were just statistics. Nobody knows about them, where they come from, what they did, what were their names. There were families wiped out. Everybody knows what happened afterward. Devastating, heartbreaking. It shouldn't have happened. But even this should have not happened. Nobody wants to talk about it. And today we are so afraid to go out there and speak our hearts because we are We are fearful of how the other person might judge us or perceive us. We are stuck in between, somewhere in between left and right. We don't have a balance of perspective. And as a storyteller, you can't be bogged down by these things. You can't be intimidated by these things. You have to be fearless somewhere down the line and go out there and tell the story as it is. Why were people not afraid when they made films on the genocide or the Holocaust that the Jews had to go through?
True.
Or when you made innumerable movies about September 11, 2001. Nobody wants to talk about this specifically. And that's shocking.
Especially also because, you know what...
And I'll also, sorry to cut you, I'll
continue.
come to a very pertinent part of your question, that there is a divide, there is a clear divide, there is a clear lens that people see it with, oh, this is pro this is anti that, this is pro this is anti that. Honestly, I can speak for myself, I really don't care. Even when I made Sector 36, it is inspired by multiple true stories. People were like, it was a gruesome film, we couldn't watch it, but I have to go out there and tell the stories I feel very strongly about. I am hopeful you will like it. But I want to represent reality as it is. You cannot go out there and please everyone. वो आप नहीं कर सकते. आप people pleaser अगर बन के रहना चाहते हैं तो आप कहीं के नहीं रहेंगे. तो कोशिश है ये, you know, कि किस लेंस से आप देखते हैं. It is so disappointing कि आज हम इस बारे में बात भी कर रहे हैं कि yes, and because it is a reality, that अगर आपने ऐसी कहानी कही है तो उसके repercussions हो सकते हैं. यार अगर कोई एक्टर अगर नाजी का कैरेक्टर प्ले करता है तो वो नाजी आइडियोलॉजी थोड़ी अपनी रियल लाइफ में फॉलो करता है. वैसे तो फिर अमरीश पुरी इज द मोस्ट वांटेड पर्सन इन द वर्ल्ड यार. We are actors. We are out there portraying parts or telling stories which are important. It is something that we love to do. So tomorrow, if there is a superstar who's killing people with his machine guns, it doesn't mean कि वो real life में वैसा है.
True.
There has to be a clear demarcation. If you don't have it, then you really need to put a check on yourself.
Now also, you know, as we talk about the aftermath, what also happened, it led to a lot of communal tension in the country, you know, especially in Gujarat. A lot of people had communal fights, and the majority of people who suffered were women and children. They were humiliated, killed, and a lot of things happened basically. Following which, because of this politics of religion, the humanity kind of suffered the most.
And
Don't you all feel?
It still is suffering.
Humanity is suffering only in today's
Nobody
time.
wants to fight and die in fights. Everybody wants to be peaceful at the end of the day. There are power politics that happens in the hands of people who have power, but normal people don't really, they just become scapegoats.
Yeah.
जो हम कह रहे हैं ना कि वो आंकड़े बन के रह जाते हैं, वो स्टैटिस्टिक्स है. तो I mean,
इस बात पे तो बहुत लंबी डिबेट हो सकती है, बहुत लंबी चर्चा हो सकती है.
But even now on social media, people don't really understand, you know, what exactly is happening, but they just want to share an opinion. Sometimes what happens while sharing an opinion, you're not doing the research on what has happened, and you're just sharing, you know, right or wrong. And as he said, like, you're just choosing sides, but you really don't know the crux of the matter. Do you feel that could also lead to a lot of unwanted, like, because a lot of backlashing happens for the movies? You know, most of the times I feel celebrities are the soft targets for the audience out there when they want to backlash. Many times, you know, politicians just, you know, move away from whatever it is, but celebrities become target of, you know, such activities which takes place on social media.
Yes, मैंने तो ट्विटर छोड़ दिया because I kept one opinion about one film, and honestly मैं तो मतलब that's the times we are living in कि आप लोग सुनना ही नहीं चाहते कि आप क्या बोल रहे हैं. आप बोल के मतलब you know अपना गुस्सा इतना भरा होता है, and मैं हमेशा यही, मैं उस टाइम पे भी यही बोल रही थी और मैं आज भी यही बोलती हूँ कि मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द लोग, जो भी वो लोग होते हैं ना जिनको गुस्सा बहुत आता है ऑन स्ट्रेंजर्स, वो मोस्टली अपनी लाइफ में कुछ नहीं कर रहे होते. इसीलिए आप में गुस्सा भरा हुआ है. इट्स अ गुड थिंग. वो गुस्सा अच्छा है कि वो भरा है क्योंकि आप कुछ करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन आप उसको चैनल ही नहीं करते, इसलिए आप किसी पे भी चिल्लाने लग जाते हैं. वेयर इज हम पूरी कोशिश करते हैं एज एक्टर्स, हम जिस फील्ड में हैं, अगर कोई you know, आप एक रिपोर्टर है, कोई राइटर है, कोई डायरेक्टर है, कोई आर्टिस्ट है, कोई सिंगर है, हम पूरी कोशिश करते हैं कि हमारे अंदर जितना गुस्सा भरा हुआ है ऑन मैटर्स जिसके बारे में बात करना फ्यूटाइल है, बेकार है, हम उसे अपने काम में डालें, यू नो, बिकॉज जब भी कोई बात करता है तो बातों की बातें ही हो जाती हैं, बस और कुछ होता नहीं है। एंड वी आर ऑल थिंकिंग पीपल, वी आर ऑल गुड मीनिंग सिटीजन्स ऑफ आवर कंट्री। और यू नो वो सही बात है कि या तो राइट हो गया है आज या लेफ्ट हो गया है, दीज आर ऑल फैड्स, यू नो। एक टाइम था जब डिप्रेशन, यू नो, इतनी बड़ी चीज को लाइटली लिया जा रहा था, कोई उदास भी होता था तो हम बोलते डिप्रेशन में हूँ, राइट? वैसे ही अब राइट लेफ्ट हो रहा है, यू नो, इट्स समथिंग वी आर सेइंग सो लाइटली विदाउट रियलाइजिंग what means what, you know। कोई मुझसे कभी पूछे, जो विक्रांत भी बोल रहे हैं, आई एम ऑन द साइड ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी, मुझे ना लड़ाई झगड़ा चाहिए, ना मुझे चाहिए सब पीसफुली रहे। ये हो सकता है, इस पे चर्चा करते, इस पे बात करते, इस पे बात किसी को नहीं करनी, यू नो। एज राशि सेड, सच बोरिंग होता है, सच में कुछ मजा नहीं है। इसीलिए जो चीजें सिंप्लीफाइड हो जाती है ना, जिनके सोल्यूशंस निकल जाते हैं, वो बात ही नहीं करनी किसी को, सबको बस लड़ाइयां करनी है। नहीं नहीं नहीं, आपने 4 चीजें अच्छी बोली होंगी, ये एक सेंटेंस ये बोला, इसकी वजह से ये हुआ, आप 5 साल पहले आपने ये किया था। हाउ यू डोंट वांट पीस ओनली, पॉइंट इज दैट, यू नो। सो एक पीसफुल इंसान ही चुप होगा, और जो पीस नहीं चाहते, यू नो, दे विल बी द वंस who will shut you up, bullies, you know। it's sad, but that's the direction we have already gone in.
At the same time, don't you all also feel that media should also do sensible reporting?
Of
in
course.
current times especially?
Journalists, I used to look up to journalists because मैंने तो अपनी फैमिली में, मैं दिल्ली से हूँ, तो दिल्ली में तो बहुत पॉलिटिकल और यू नो बहुत सारा, यू नो, जर्नलिज्म इज देयर। आई हैव गॉन टू एनडीटीवी एज अ किड, यू नो, एंड सीन दैट एटमॉस्फेयर। तो अब वो रहा ही नहीं, अब वो है ही नहीं। आप जर्नलिज्म को पोस्ट कोविड तो आप सीरियसली ले ही नहीं पा रहे। जिस तरीके से यू नो हो गया था जर्नलिज्म के साथ, जो माहौल बन गया था, यू आर नॉट एबल टू टेक जर्नलिज्म सीरियसली। इनफैक्ट अभी जो रिपोर्टिंग हो भी रही है, आई कांट टेल यू हाउ मच माई हार्ट ब्रेक्स, बिकॉज यू नो थोड़ी सी भी आपको अगर रियलिटी पता हो ना, और फिर आप देखें कि ये क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसे लोगों को गुमराह कर रहे हैं, कैसे बात को घुमा रहे हैं। क्योंकि क्या होता है, लाइक यू नो, जो हम तो जर्नलिज्म तो दे नीड टू लर्न। मैं कितनी बार बहुत सारे जर्नलिज्म, आई एम सॉरी, मैं इस चीज के बारे में बहुत पैशनेट हूँ, इसीलिए बोल रही हूँ इतना, क्योंकि मैं बहुत बारी जर्नलिस्ट को मिलती हूँ और वो कुछ सवाल पूछते हैं, तो मैं बोलती हूँ आपको ये सवाल रिवर्स करना चाहिए। आप सवाल ही गलत इंसान से पूछ रहे हो, नो। कभी कभी जैसे मुझसे पूछते थे, आपको कैसा लगता है, यू नो, टीवी का ये और वो, तो मैं बोलती थी आप ऑडियंस को पूछिए, आप you know, change the way you look at things, because you guys have the most responsibility, जो विक्रांत भी शुरू से कह रहे हैं। I'm sure वो फिर से कहेंगे।
And no, as he said also, you know, this is the thing, that media is the 4th pillar of democracy, which also means try to bring the truth rather than, you know, just trying to take sides or, you know, polishing it in a certain manner where people get like confused. Because what also happens, media can have an impact on the society.
Yeah, but
most
you
of the
can't
times.
do that, na? How will you get sponsors otherwise? Let's face reality, right? You open all the news channels, everyone claims to be number 1.
Yeah.
न्यूज आती इतनी है, टीवी पे इतनी आती है, उसके नीचे इतना बड़ा टिकर चल रहा होता है, नेशंस नंबर 1 न्यूज चैनल, और सभी नंबर 1 है। सबको स्पॉन्सर्स भी तो चाहिए, तो nobody wants to question these things. A layman, someone like my father, still unfortunately wakes up in the morning with his cup of tea reading the newspaper. And आज का न्यूज़पेपर ट्विटर ट्रेंड पे डिपेंड करता है, कि फ्रंट पेज पे कौन सा आएगा, तीसरे पेज पे कौन सा आएगा। वो इंटेग्रिटी रही नहीं है अभी, एंड दैट इज वन ऑफ द कोर सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ आवर फिल्म। यू सी द 3 of us are playing journalists in this film. An incident that shaped the socio-political fabric of our country. What was that 4th pillar doing at that time? Were they absolutely truthful? Did they actually do their duties rightfully, justfully, and represent the people of this country rightfully? ये आपको पिक्चर देखेंगे आपको पता चलेगा। So these are some hard questions you have to ask yourself, and also have the courage to sort of see or question your own self to begin with. Change begins within. अब अगर वही नहीं करना चाहते हैं तो क्या करेंगे?
मतलब मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दूंगी। एक कुछ न्यूज आई थी जिसमें यू नो किसी ने कहा, मतलब some news, okay, I don't want to get into it, but I remember बहुत सारे ट्विटर पे, मैं that was I think my last day on Twitter, बहुत सारे लोग ट्विटर पे यू नो मान गए वो न्यूज। I personally did my research कि एक सेकेंड ये फैक्ट से कनेक्ट, ये फैक्ट से कनेक्ट, ये फैक्ट से कनेक्ट, बिकॉज आई वॉन्ट टू बी इन्फॉर्म्ड, नॉट बिकॉज मैं बहुत इंटेलिजेंट इंसान हूँ. एंड आई अंडरस्टूड, और फिर वो हमें कुछ घंटों बाद पता चला ये एक पब्लिसिटी स्टंट था. तो इतने सारे लोग फिर बोलने लग गए, अरे दिस पर्सन इज हॉरिबल, इसने ऐसा क्यों किया. बट फॉर मी आई फेल्ट लाइक मीडिया ने क्यों उस चीज को अप्रूव किया. आपने, उन्होंने वो न्यूज बना ही दी. इफ आई एज अ लेमैन डिड माय रिसर्च एंड आई केम विद द कंक्लूजन, नहीं ये नॉन कंक्लूसिव है, ये न्यूज जो आई है ये नॉन कंक्लूसिव है, अभी इस पे बोल नहीं सकते कि ये सच है या झूठ. हाउ डिड द मीडिया डू दैट?
और आज की तारीख में देयर इज अ सेपरेट ब्रांच इन एवरी मीडिया हाउस व्हिच इज फैक्ट चेकिंग. आज मीडिया हाउसेस फैक्ट चेक करने में बैठी हैं, क्योंकि, और ये हर मीडिया हाउस कर रहा है. फैक्ट चेक इसीलिए करना पड़ रहा है बिकॉज इन द एज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन देयर इज सो मच ऑफ मिसइंफॉर्मेशन. आप रिलाई किस चीज पे करें आपको पता नहीं.
Like same happened to me when I joined media versus now. I really feel like, is it what I am a part of? Do I
You can
really
make the
want to be a
change.
part of the circus?
Don't be a part of
honestly?
anything, be the first one. That's the only way.
But as we
Yeah.
talk about this very beautiful song, which Ekta Kapoor has tried to bring back,
Ji.
which is the Raja Ram,
Ji.
Ram, and we all have loved that. We have loved Smriti Irani in that entire zone, and the
Saas
Ram,
ki Kabhi Bahu.
exactly, Saas ki Bahu thi. How was it, that song coming back? Because it also correlates with the incident, which has taken place. Plus, of course, Ayodhya being, the
I think
the home
let
of
Raashi
Ram.
take this.
I think
Yeah.
it brings back childhood memories because I've grown up watching Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, and I loved all the case serials. And I think when I heard about the decision of remaking, like sort of bringing this song back, it brought back a lot of memories, and I'm really happy that they're using this song for our film. And it's a beautiful melody, it's a beautiful song, and I think people are loving it already. Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of those songs which immediately make you sort of.
you'll remember the song, you'll want to keep humming it.
Yeah,
It's that song.
yeah. It's
And-
still playing in my head.
And to
Kalsi.
have two legends,
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Kavita
to have Suresh Wadkar ji and Kavita Krishnamurti ji coming back together.
Yeah.
मतलब हम
Yeah. We
we
are so
grown up
blessed.
listening to them.
It's such
Yeah.
a blessing.
And lastly, I have to also ask you if you had any memories, if you could recollect in the year 2022, where exactly were you?
2002.
2002.
2002, sorry. Yeah, if you
उन्होंने
could
तो बता
recollect.
दिया, वो तो बच्ची थी.
मैं तो
हाँ.
बच्ची थी, स्कूल में थी.
मैं भी स्कूल में थी.
Yeah.
2000.
हमने चर्चा
You were
करी
also
थी,
in school.
हमने काफी
I was
चर्चा
also in
करी थी इस
Yeah.
विषय के बारे में जब आया था, बट हमें ज्यादा नॉलेज नहीं थी.
I was
Thankfully,
I
उस
was in
टाइम
class
social
10.
media wasn't
Class
there at
10,
that time,
yes.
so there wasn't so much of misinformation, but there was no information also. That's when you would switch on the TV, you would want to see कि media वाले TV पे
You know,
क्या बोल रहे हैं.
I remember where I was. I
Yeah.
was in school.
हाँ.
और कुछ ही महीने पहले, I think 4-5 महीने पहले WTC का हादसा हुआ था.
हम्म.
Oh.
और WTC का हादसा हुआ, अमेरिका इन्वेडेड अफगानिस्तान, वो इतना फ्रंट पेज पे था,
Yeah.
वो इतना हर जगह था कि हम सबका ध्यान वही था. गुजरात के गोधरा का नाम नहीं पता था हमें यार, हमें सिर्फ अहमदाबाद पता था, गांधीनगर पता था और आनंद पता था, क्योंकि वहां पे अमूल की वजह से मैं आनंद
Yeah.
था.
हाँ.
तो आई रिमेम्बर वेरी क्लियरली कि वो न्यूज़पेपर्स में और न्यूज़ चैनल्स में और खासतौर पे इंग्लिश न्यूज़ चैनल्स पे तो सिर्फ अमेरिकन इन्वेजन ऑफ अफगानिस्तान की बात चल रही थी.
अच्छा.
इस बारे में किसी ने बात ही नहीं की थी, ज्यादा बात नहीं की थी. ये हुआ था पर ज्यादा बात नहीं की थी.
मैंने फॉलो की थी न्यूज, मैं भी स्कूल में थी, बट आई थिंक क्योंकि मेरे फादर बहुत देखते थे और ऑल्सो थोड़ा पॉलिटिकल बैकग्राउंड है, तो आई रिमेम्बर एक्चुअली जो रिसर्च अभी हुई है बहुत सही हुई है, क्योंकि मैंने ये सारे पहलू उस टाइम पे सुने थे मतलब थ्रू उस टाइम पे जो लोग बातें करते थे, अलग अलग विचार, अलग अलग धारणाएं, अलग अलग फैक्ट्स. तो आई रिमेम्बर दिस.
And before I let all of you go, on a beautiful note, if you have any memories, lovely memories associated with Ayodhya, and if you could share with the audience out there.
I have not been to Ayodhya.
I hope
Would
I
you
get
like
to
to
go
but I'd
to
love to
Ayodhya.
go. I'd love to see the Ram
What
Mandir.
about you?
सिर्फ पढ़ा है उनके बारे में,
Yeah.
अभी गए नहीं.
अयोध्या के बारे में
गए
सिर्फ पढ़ा है.
The way it's been made right now, it's
I hope
way
इस
too beautiful
फिल्म
now.
के लिए, इस फिल्म के साथ हम
अब तक तो पता नहीं है
कोशिश करते हैं,
कि
टिकट कटा के चलते हैं.
बट आई रियली वांट टू विजिट
Yeah.
दैट. माय फैमिली वांट्स टू विजिट दैट. मेरी वाइफ बहुत मान्यता है उनकी, मेरी वाइफ, और शी वांट्स टू ट्रैवल देयर विद मी, सो होपफुली लेट्स सी.
Lovely chatting with all of you. Looking
you.
forward to see this one, and
Thank
I'm
you.
hoping to see the reality to the audience.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for
Thank
listening.
you.
Thank you.